We make decisions every day. What we're going to wear, what we're going to eat, even whether or not we choose to drive or take public transportation. What if one of the hundreds of decisions we make each and every day turned out to be the wrong choice? Sadly, that was the case for these people. Here are 10 fatal decisions that went horribly wrong. If this is your first time viewing, please be sure to click the red subscribe button for more videos. Don't try this at home. Nowadays, getting the ultimate selfie is considered an amazing achievement, and people will go to extremes to obtain them. High cliffs have become especially popular locations for these shots. They attract daredevil photographers like Leonardo Pereira and Victoria Nadar, but they also attract the average Joe. One Polish couple attempted to take a selfie near the cliffs in Portugal's Cabo de Roca. They must have gotten too close to the edge, however. Their terrified children, aged 5 and 6, watched as their parents fell to their deaths. Due to weather conditions, their bodies were not recovered until the following day. Not worth the bet. Many men want to prove their prowess and are unlikely to turn down a challenge involving their manliness, especially if it includes $3,000. Two women bet 28-year-old Sergei Tuganov that he couldn't go all night with both of them. Determined to prove them wrong and win the bet, he took an entire bottle of Viagra. After 12 hours of bedroom gymnastics, Tuganov won his bet, then promptly dropped dead. He had suffered a heart attack from the strain of the half-day session and the drugs coursing through his system. The women, who were friends of his, called an ambulance, but it was too late. Sadly, he is not the first man to die following a Viagra overdose either. Prank gone wrong. In Circleville, Ohio, two friends, Derek Greenlee and Seth Stonerock, decided to play a prank. The 18 and 19-year-olds went out and covered a stop sign with plastic wrap, making it nearly invisible to motorists. They shared their prank on Facebook, thinking it was very funny. That is until they discovered that their actions caused an accident. Janine Shea and her sister, Mary Spangler, were unable to see the obstructed sign and drove into the path of another car. One of the elderly women was killed on impact. The other was critically injured and later died in the hospital. The boys were charged with involuntary manslaughter and tampering with a traffic control device. Kite surfing in a storm. Kitesurfing is a difficult and sometimes dangerous sport. It involves taking a giant sail out on a windy body of water and holding on while boarding over the waves. In 2010, there was a severe weather warning at a seaside resort in Saint-Jean-de-Luz, France. Many decided that this meant it was a good day to stay out of the water, but several others had other ideas. One of the kite surfers, 28-year-old Adrien Monolieu, died after the gale-force winds dragged him across the beach at more than 100 miles per hour. He was lifted into the air, causing him to hit no fewer than 3 rooftops before plunging 50 feet to the ground. Missed step. Parkour is a mixture of athletics and acrobatics that was first founded in France in the early 1990s. It involves running, jumping, rolling, and climbing. Many stunt people are even trained using parkour. It has grown in popularity over the years, but can also be dangerous if not thought out properly. One 24-year-old woman died when she miscalculated a jump in St. Petersburg, Russia. She was taking her first lesson with her older sister and 4 men. The men were about to make the jump, but she misjudged the distance between the two buildings and fell 17 stories. The men fled following her death. Walk the plank. Planking, a popular activity which involves lying on one's stomach stiff as a board and taking photos, has caused quite a stir in recent years. Photos of people failing miserably or achieving their goal of planking perfection have popped up all over the internet. The stranger the location, the better it seems. However, sometimes people attempt this stunt in inadvisable locations without realizing the danger. One 20-year-old man in Brisbane, Australia plunged to his death after attempting to plank on a balcony rail. The unfortunate young man fell 7 stories. Paramedics attempted to revive him, but he was later pronounced dead. Dare you! Back in 1998, 23-year-old Michael Gentner and his friends had been drinking. The Akron, Ohio man was then dared to swallow a live 5-inch-long goldfish. Rather than declining the dare, Gentner attempted to swallow the fish. It became lodged in his throat, causing him to choke. His friends called an ambulance, telling them he'd eaten some fish and couldn't breathe. When paramedics arrived, the fish's tail could be seen flapping in his mouth. They removed the fish but were unable to resuscitate him. Police did not charge the friends, saying, "If I dare you to jump off a bridge and you do it, and you're 23 years of age, you're stupid." Pride kills. Franz Reichelt was an Austrian tailor. He was obsessed with the idea of human flight and dreamed of creating a suit that would allow someone to safely float to the ground. He moved to Paris, France, and debuted his parachute coat in 1912. He performed tests with dummies from his apartment but felt he needed a greater height. Reichelt decided that the Eiffel Tower would be the perfect spot. Onlookers gathered around the base of the tower, figuring he would use a dummy as he had done before. Apparently, that's not what Reichelt had in mind. He donned the suit himself and took the 57-meter plunge. Unfortunately, his design did not function as intended. After a 5-second free fall, he hit the ground with enough force to create a small crater. He was dead in an instant. Game over. In 2005, a 28-year-old South Korean man sat down at his computer to play StarCraft. He played in an internet cafe in the city of Taegu. He became so involved in the game that he only took short breaks to use the restroom. He barely ate or slept for 50 hours. It was then that he suddenly collapsed. He was taken to the hospital but died shortly afterwards. Doctors believe the cause of death was heart failure stemming from exhaustion. Famous last words. Gary Hoy was a 38-year-old lawyer from Toronto, Ontario. He worked at the Toronto Dominion Bank Tower and would routinely demonstrate the strength of the building's large windows. He was known to hurl himself at the window panes only to bounce off again perfectly safe. Until one day in July 1993 when he attempted the stunt for a group of prospective legal apprentices. His first demonstration yielded its usual result. When he tried a second time though, the window pane broke free and Hoy tumbled with it. He fell 24 stories to the courtyard below and died on impact. No one could explain his fondness for the trick prior to his death. There you have it, folks. Hopefully these stories have us all thinking twice before making any rash decisions. On that note, why not take a look at one of our more positive videos, like 10 survival hacks that will save your life in the cold for a pick-me-up, or one of our other great videos featured above. Thanks, and bye-bye.